When we talk about cell replication and division, we're talking about mitosis and meiosis. These processes allow for one cell to ultimately turn into a whole person. The cell is so small that you can't see it just by looking at it, so it needs to replicate to make more of itself to ultimately make a tissue and an organ. Mitosis occurs in a few separate stages and checkpoints throughout the cycle. First, before the cell can divide, it needs to replicate its entire internal contents to ultimately make two different cells. It's able to make its own twin on its own, which is really unique. So we have two copies of everything inside our one cell. Then, once all the information is copied, prophase happens. This is when we can finally see our DNA under a microscope. What was invisible is now able for us to see. It's very magical. The DNA then sheds its cytoskeleton, which is similar to a snake shedding its own skin. Metaphase is the next stage in the cell cycle, where our chromosomes line in the middle of the cell. They form a straight line, and the cell is then divided in half. After this, we then go on to anaphase. Anaphase is where the chromosomes move to opposite sides of the cell. This is like picking teams for basketball. Half of the chromosomes go to one side and half of the others go to the other side. We're still in the same cell, so we're just in different huddles at this point. After anaphase is telophase, and this is where the teams separate. Each part of the cells separate side completely separate, and they start to form a little crack in the membrane. That leads to cytokinesis, where the cells officially separate into two distinct cells. So, at the end of mitosis, we end with two cells. This occurs in all of our normal body cells, your muscles, your nervous tissue, anything like that. Mitosis happens. Then there's meiosis, and meiosis is very special. And this occurs in our sex cells. Sex cells are what help determine if we are boys or girls. And they are very important because they are different than all of our other cells. When mitosis occurs, we end with two identical cells. When meiosis occurs, we end up with four cells. So meiosis is special in that it goes through the cycle twice. They have the same stages, but they go through each of them twice before the cycle is over. Meiosis and mitosis are very important in our ability to grow. So if you want to get taller, you better hope that these two processes occur. And yeah, they're very important. And this is a very simple version of cell division. So I hope you learned something different. And if you want some more complex stuff, you can research that on your own.